All right, I'm going to show you how we build value for accounting services, bookkeeping services, while we do web design. And this is also the premise that you should use as you're asking questions. Now, I'm going to dive right into this. Again, my name is Rob. We do websites, marketing, and messaging, SEO for small businesses. And in particular, we work with accounting firms. Now, if you're not careful, every conversation you have as an accountant to a small business owner will deteriorate to, oh, I just need a good, inexpensive accountant, which is true. But we want to build value. If we don't sell value, if we're not good at figuring out what's valuable to a customer, we're never going to be able to get those high retainers with these customers, right? So really what we got to do is what's valuable to them is valuable to them. And our whole goal here is to find out what's valuable to them, what problems do they have, find out what we do, and try and make those connections. So these are the types of things that you need to be cognizant of, to ask questions about, to position and have conversations about, so that you can actually sell higher value. So I want to real quick talk about this. Absent a value interpreter, all negotiations deteriorate to price. If you don't get good at connecting and asking questions and casting vision for some problems, it's all going to come down to price. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about what are the three most important things that a business owner values. It is not just about how much money they make. We are trying to find people that have complex problems that you can solve. In fact, the more employees they have, the more they're geared up towards heading upward and forward in their business, the better of a lead this is. So what are the biggest value propositions we're going to use questions to draw out of a business owner? That's what we're looking for. So number one, every business owner wants to mitigate taxes and build wealth. All of them. Everybody that I've ever met to wants to keep more of their money. And so tax planning is not a one and done thing. It is a verb. It is something that happens throughout the year. Number one, you have to ask questions like this. How confident are you that you're doing everything possible to reduce your taxes? Hey, I got a question for you. Have you had somebody analyze your tax return and look at your accounting and try and find out if you're doing everything possible to reduce your taxes? Now, are you doing an S-Corp where you're monitoring your reasonable salary and you're making sure that you're getting the most tax benefit out of your S-Corporation? Or is that just something that you kind of ignore every year? Hey, I got a question for you. Now, over the long haul, you can hire your kids. You can use retirement plans like simple IRAs, SEP IRAs, solo 401ks. You can even use pension style plans. You can do a lot of stuff with even like the Augusta rule. And there's some things that we can do to get into long-term tax savings. Are you doing that with your current account? Or on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you're getting great tax planning in the beginning and then throughout the year? And that's another thing that you want to post them, just so you know. Not only do we make sure that you're maximizing your S-Corp, not only will we make sure that you're hiring your kids, utilizing retirement plans, using benefits, getting involved in real estate, finding ways to just be as tax efficient as possible, but we're also going to talk to you about what do you do with all the cash that's sitting in your business. You know, at the end of the year, when you have $300,000 sitting in your bank account or $1.5 million, should you just take it on the chin and pay those taxes? Or should we strategically plan to help your business grow by making the right investments into the equipment that you need, into the staff that you need, and any other services that might help your business scale and help improve profitability? That's dramatically important. The second part to this, building wealth. Okay, folks, your business owners notoriously neglect investing. You owe it to them to get them involved into a solo 401k if they don't have statutory employees, or even just opening a brokerage account at a Schwab or a Vanguard, and get them involved in investing in S&P 500 index funds probably, or possibly pick their retirement date fund so that that's automatically adjusting to bonds, stocks, and becoming more settled down the closer to withdrawing that they would be. Now, I know everybody likes to criticize big Wall Street and their fees, but if you get into Schwab or Vanguard-based index funds, mutual funds, they're broadly based. In fact, the S&P 500 has a great test to make sure that they're good companies to get in there. But folks, compounding interest is one of the biggest benefits that a business owner can have, and it's less correlated. The correlation is much lower compared to what their industry sector is. If your business owner is just hunkered into their own business and real estate, by golly, you got to encourage them to start setting away, $500-600 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever that is. At minimum, they need to be investing into the most tax qualified retirement funds or retirement tools that they have, like a simple IRA, a SEP IRA, a solo 401k. Solo 401ks are only if you don't have statutory employees, or even offering a 401k that has some tools for officers and owners that might not be there. At minimum, do those profit share contributions. And even if they're not doing that, you have to encourage them to get investing in just a taxable account. If you're in an S&P 500 index fund, you're doing mutual funds, the taxes are pretty low, but they need to have compounding interest working on their favor. The reason why I bring this up, they all want this. Not only that, but you should probably be talking about, stocks and bonds and all that, the mutual fund investments, their business. You should be talking about building real estate and starting to diversify there, and even getting involved in other businesses as they scale and grow. But this is huge. All of them want to reduce their taxes. All of them want to build wealth. So the question here is, how do you pique their curiosity about building wealth, right? So some of the things you might ask about is, so tell me, how much cash do you have on hold? How much investment do you have? Do you have any old 401ks, some IRAs? Are you doing any other investing outside of your business? And ask those questions. And as you do that, you should talk to them about, well, tell me about, what are you trying to do when you retire? What's your plan? So again, you want to ask questions. So talk to me about, what do you do for tax planning now? What have you learned from your current accountant about tax planning? How does that look like at the end of the year? When are you making strategic plans? What are the biggest tax write-offs you've been doing with your current customers? When people are coming in, our websites need to ask questions about this. Your sales process needs to ask questions about this. And this is the number one thing that's like flash in the pan. It exposes the relationship that somebody has with their accountant, and you can go after that. So this is the first value proposition that you should talk about, because it's something that they like, it's something that puts money in their pocket, and it's usually something that if their accounting firm is too busy, their current accountant or bookkeeper is too focused on individuals, then what's going to happen is they're going to neglect this. They're not going to be proactive, and at the end of the year, they're just going to be dumping their books and accountant or their bookkeeping to this tax person. They're going to clean it up, tell them what they can and can't do, and that's it. That can't be how your business operates. But that's the first of the three major value propositions. The second, what we want to do is we want to talk about compliance. Every business owner, along with taxes reduced and wealth, you know what they really want? I don't want my business to blow up on me. I want compliance. I want to make sure we're doing things right. I want the peace of mind that goes along with knowing that we've paid in our taxes, that things are being done right. And I don't have this risk that I have Brady doing my accounting and bookkeeping. I have a CPA or a trained tax accountant. You got to ask questions like this. How confident are you on a scale of 1 to 10 that your accounting is done really well? How confident are you that if you were to ever get audited, that your bookkeeping and your write-offs have been done properly? How confident are you that throughout the year that you're doing everything to pay in your taxes so you don't have a big tax bomb go off? I don't know about you, but a lot of clients that I work with, towards about Q4, they start having conversations with their spouses, and they don't know if they're going to get a $5,000 tax return, if they're going to owe $12,000. Is any of that important to? So you just want to ask questions that pique their curiosity about whether this is valuable to them. You can't tell them this is valuable. You have to ask questions about this. The other thing is do you have accurate numbers? Are you able to confidently go into your bookkeeping and or are you just going into the bank account and seeing how much money's there, and that determines how good things are going? Also, you have to remind them that mistakes that are made, right? Classifying things improperly. You have to encourage them that there's huge value in avoiding big mistakes, because by avoiding those mistakes and doing it right, it's really painful. It's kind of like, one of the benefits that I have is that I've avoided a divorce. Like, I don't even think about that because divorce isn't a thing in my life. And yet, isn't it valuable to me to make sure that that doesn't happen? Well, of course. So you have to find ways to remind them and ask questions. Hey, so talk to me about how confident you are that, your bookkeeper's not making mistakes right now. And usually a business owner knows it's either up or down. Yeah, I don't care about this. You almost feel like you're piling on. You got to be careful with that. The next thing is you got to help them with risk mitigation, okay? This is a little bit of the basics of Dave Ramsey, but you should ask questions. So I've got a question for you. Now, I don't sell insurance or anything, but I just want to know, do you have any big liabilities that are out there? Do you have any life insurance to make sure that if you die, your family would be taken care of? Just term life insurance. How about this? Have you considered, do you have long-term disability insurance where if you were to get hit in the head, Rob, and you can't work, do you have kind of a plan of what that might look like? No? Okay. I do want you to know, maybe you go look at a Dave Ramsey thing or whatever it is. Those are important things you should just pay attention to. Now, they might not value this now. This is a little bit of like, all you got to do is watch them make a foolish mistake and have something ugly happen where, a lot of guys they don't have the right insurance and then there's stuff they can't do. One of their drivers might get pulled over, and because they were foolish on their insurance, they end up going out of business and can't drive, or their main guy can't drive anymore. Or it could be that they, have an injury and all of a sudden they can't operate anymore. There's a lot that goes in there. So they will value that. You got to be gentle. That's a little bit harder one. Then you have accurate reporting. So a business owner wants accurate reports. It's super vital. It's really important to their business. And then the last thing is you got to remind them, how confident are you that if the IRS starts coming at you, that you're not going to be under audit risk? How confident are you that it's done right? And so you just want to ask questions again, taxes and wealth, and then compliance stuff, right? This is, hey, there's not a tax return we can't do. We are an accountant that's professionally trained. We'll help you with this, but just tell me, where are you at with this? All right, so that's the second main value prop. We're going to hit where the third is. The third value prop is really the most valuable when you understand this deeply, okay? So the third value proposition is that you're going to help them save time and labor, and you're going to improve productivity and efficiency. I'm a business owner. I have a team of 9, and my time needs to be spent creating videos, selling, running sales meetings, developing my staff, developing my processes. If I were stuck screwing around in my accounting right now, that'd be the worst use of my time. It'd just be terrible. My wife runs our operations. Okay, we got almost $1 million business going on in just a couple of years here. And if my wife isn't staying with our clients, getting paid quicker, APAR, making sure that customers are happy, that'd be a terrible use of our time. Instead, I have an outsourced accountant that just keeps us efficient. Now, you can't tell them that this is important, but what you should do is ask lots of questions about how they spend their time. Who's doing what in the business? Because it's cliche, but it's true that we all wear too many hats in our business. And when we wear too many hats in our business, our energy gets pulled to the side. And by you doing all the bookkeeping, making sure that if they are doing anything in accountant, it's just getting paid quicker, doing the invoices better. And if you help them kind of serve as a CFO, and we'll get there, but if you just help them stay out of the nonsense, that's going to be huge. The other thing is if you allow them to not have to hire a Patty part-timer bookkeeper, then you're going to help them focus their staff investment on the right activities, okay? Donald Miller tells a story, or he uses an analogy that a business is like an airplane. And the airplane, you have the cockpit where the leadership is, the wing is production, and the engines are sales and marketing. The fuselage and everything else is the rest of the business, okay? You obviously need a cockpit. The wing is production and sales and marketing. Your airplane can sit there complete, but without sales and marketing and production occurring, there's no lift. Everything else you add in that business weighs it down and requires more cash flow. It eats your cash flow up. So them hiring, them leading, them managing their own bookkeeping staff is incredibly it's a time suck. It really draws them away from the most important activities they can. So you're going to help save them time and labor on their current team that they have hired, and then you're going to help them be more efficient, and you're going to serve as a staff replacement. Folks, if you get them to acknowledge that you'll at least be a replacement for an 8-hour a week, $30 an hour accountant, that saves them $900 a month. And I could darn near guarantee that you and your accountant, your outsourced accounting, is going to deliver far more value than that. Then the last thing is that you can help them understand how to improve productivity and improve profitability and help them scale their business as their CFO. And that's a whole other conversation. So these are the 3 value propositions that we want to be piquing their curiosity around. And inside of this is where you start to get people willing to pay much higher retainers. So if your website isn't using clear, concise, curiosity-piquing statements, and if your retargeting in your advertising isn't doing that, you're going to sell yourself short, because absent a value interpreter, and this is where you have to ask questions, absent a value interpreter, you're just going to be hammered down on price, and that's what we can't do. I'm looking forward to connecting with you. If you're looking for a website, I want this covered so that you understand this. Good luck and God bless.